Good morning. I'm Amy Bynowski with Center State Bank and team manager of the Buy Now team. And this morning, I'm spending some time with Suzanne Springfield with Remax True Tamara Way team. Good morning, Suzanne.
Hi, Amy. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for taking time to talk this morning about the home buying process and how somebody who's considering purchasing a home can get started. I know you have years of experience and can help a buyer navigate through the process very smoothly. So I'm excited for you to share with our listeners a little bit more about you and your experience. So can you tell us how long you've been an agent?
Yes, I have been a licensed realtor for about 15 years. So I've worked with a lot of different ages of buyers and sold a lot of different types of homes throughout the state.
So in 15 years, you've seen a lot and have been through a lot and can help people navigate through all different types of scenarios and obstacles.
Yes, absolutely. Definitely.
Do you have any area that you are an expert in that you prefer to work in, or anything?
Well, I work with buyers and sellers, but I definitely have a focus in new construction, and working with buyers is definitely something that I do most often, just because that is my area of expertise. I come from a new construction background. I was an on-site agent for years, and that is something that I use my experience from that to help my buyers in the process now.
Oh, I bet you know a lot working in the new construction, you know what to look for, especially if somebody's purchasing a new home when you're doing like the final walk. I'm sure you can help them identify things that need to be on the punch out list or the survivor list.
Yes, it's amazing how over time you just pick up tidbits of construction knowledge, and before you realize it, that you have a pretty good background on a lot of different areas of the home, down to just looking outside and how to differentiate what is a good home side and what is not, or things to look out for, or um, just little tidbits of information that you just don't know from just looking around. So definitely.
That's wonderful. I know a lot of people are spending more time online looking at homes, and a lot of people are realizing after weeks of looking at the same walls that they're ready to make a change. So prospective buyers may be reading different blogs and articles and may think that they don't need to work with a licensed agent. Can you please share why it's so important to work with a licensed agent?
Yes, and definitely we are very fortunate there is a lot of information at everyone's disposal now. I think it does help people really start to narrow down what it is they like and what they're looking for and what's available. But a realtor is definitely still important in the transaction, because it's important to have someone that represents you, because we have a knowledge base that it's more than just finding the home. It's also about contract negotiation and having somebody to hold your hand through the process to make it easy instead of stressful.
I don't think buyers realize sometimes how stressful it can become, or navigating through issues during due diligence, during the inspection, and at that time, how important and valuable it is to have somebody who's as experienced as you are to help them work through some of those areas that may come up because of your years of experience. You know how to help, have the seller repair it or negotiate through that. So it's extremely important from my perspective when a buyer is represented by a licensed realtor to help them through that.
Yes, absolutely. There's so many details that can come up, but it's more even on the front end. The market right now is very competitive. So it's once you find that home, even if you think you found it on your own online, it's how do you make sure that you're going to win out? I've seen a lot of sellers lately that are going to highest and best, where they have a home on the market that is a one of a kind that people want. And when demand is high, you need to make sure that you can position yourself to be the one to win that contract to even purchase the home. So there's a lot of details that go on behind the scenes that make it really important to have somebody with a knowledge base that's in your corner. Finding your home is just the beginning.
I couldn't agree more with you. So when a prospective buyer contacts you, What are some details that you typically ask for in the beginning that will allow you to help prepare a home search for them based on their needs? What should they send you?
Well, when somebody first reaches out to me, I would say really first I'd like to try to get to know them. You know, how do they live in their home? Why they want to move? What they're looking for? What parts of town they want to be in? And then also what their budget is. I think last time we talked, we spoke to that a little bit. But it is important to make sure you understand what's involved in purchasing a home and how much money you're going to need. So I definitely like to make sure that everybody is pre-qualified before we go out looking, just to set yourself up for a fun, exciting day and not a disappointment.
What can a buyer expect when they meet with you for the first time?
Well, really just trying to get to know each other. Me asking them questions about what it is that they're looking for in their home. Again, you know, I want to get to the root of what they really like. It's easier to find what you love if you cross off your list of what you know you don't like, you know, and what you can
Yes.
afford, and not only what you're qualified for, but what you're comfortable with. You know, you still want to make sure that you have the extra funds to go to Target and put some furniture in your house and go out to eat once everything is opened back up. So it's definitely just me trying to understand who they are, them getting to ask me questions, having a comfort level with me, because it is a relationship. Because when you work with a realtor, you know, you get to know them and you want to trust them. So it's building trust, learning about each other, and then just getting prepared to go out and find a home.
I think from what I've learned with you is that you like to build your relationships and it's not just one transaction. You try to have clients for the lifetime and, you know, work with them whether they're buying their first home or they're moving up. So, you know, that's really wonderful that you do take the time to build those relationships with your clients so that it's not a one transaction client for you. You talked about getting pre-qualified. Can you explain to buyers why having a letter is so important to sellers when you start to view homes?
Sure, you definitely want to have a pre-qualification letter because sellers are also taking a risk, whether it be new construction where they are carrying the construction loan, or on a resale home where people are trying to sell their home and they want to make sure that they have a qualified buyer. So it's really just giving the seller confidence that not only do you love the home, but that you can afford it and that you're going to close. Peace of mind throughout the process is a goal for everybody. And the more information and the more education you can do up front and present even to the seller up front, the easier it's going to be and the less stressful it'll be throughout the process.
Can you submit a contract without a pre-qualification letter?
Most of the time, no. A lot of times the sellers want to see the pre-qualification letter, especially on a resale home. If you have a competitive market and a home where there's more than one potential purchaser, you want to make sure that you can put your best foot forward. And doing that to the seller is showing them that not only are you pre-qualified, but you're ready to close and that you've done your homework and you're diligent through the process. And that's how you do that with your pre-qualification letter.
Very important to know. So now the fun part. You and your buyers start looking for their dream home. What can they expect when they're looking at homes? Has anything changed with COVID-19 that they can expect?
There have been a lot of changes, really. I think in a good way. People are becoming more flexible and we're getting more creative about what we can offer our clients digitally. So if there is somebody who's not comfortable to go out and look at homes, we have a lot of virtual tours and a lot of live feeds that we can do so they can actually feel like they're in the home without having to go out. But definitely, sellers are still open to, for the most part, people coming in and viewing the homes. With new construction, it's much easier because no one's living in the home, so we can set that up, you know, on the side. So that's been a nice perk of new construction lately. But even on a resale home, we just try to take extra precautions to keep a safe distance. A lot of sellers are offering masks and gloves and leaving doors open, just taking extra steps to keep everybody safe, but also accomplish the goal of buying and selling homes because after all, it is Atlanta in the springtime and this is when we start moving. So that has not changed, especially with interest rates being so good right now.
Now, I have not seen things slow down. Typically, the spring is busy, and interest rates being as low as they are is definitely an added plus. And for people thinking about, well, should I buy now or should I wait? Rates are so low that waiting could impact their ability to qualify for, a lower price home if rates change. So I think it is definitely a good time for people to get out there and call you. Can you explain the difference between a resale home and new construction? What some of the
Sure.
differences are?
Yeah, well, during the process, a resale home obviously is a home that someone has lived in before. For the new construction, that's a brand new home. So the process is a little different just in terms of timing. Typically, what I would advise to buyers is think about when you want to move, because that's going to dictate also the type of home you need to be looking for. If you need to move right away and you want a new construction, then we need to look at homes that are completed. If you or you need to look at resales where people are motivated and typically they want to move, those sellers want to move in 30 to 45 days, and they're expecting you to go under contract, close, and move so they can move. Or if you want to be able to select your dream home and pick out cabinets and tile and countertops, then you need a lot of time for that, which is usually about 6 months. So the timing is different, the contract is different. Often in a new construction, there are changes in the sales price throughout the process as you make adjustments to the price. So it's just important to have a loan officer who keeps in communication with you. So you keep that the line of communication open so everybody's on the same page to keep it a seamless process. But it's still, either way, resale or new construction, it's important to be pre-qualified and to work with a lender that knows the ins and outs of the process, that can communicate with you, which is where you come in, Amy, for us.
Well, thank you. And I think, that's so important. It ties back to your experience in new construction, is that you can not only help somebody when they're purchasing a resale home, but also new construction, because you know the ins and outs and what to expect because you did it for so long working with builders, that your experience on new construction is unbelievable, just so you can help your buyers on both sides, whether it's resale or new construction.
There's a lot of details especially if you're building from the ground up. It's how do you select a good home site? What is a good home site? What is it going to look like? Which direction do you want your home to face? And sometimes it can be overwhelming to pick everything from your brick color on the outside of your home to the cabinet knobs in your master bathroom. There's just so many details, and it helps to have someone who's experienced to help you select those, because it's not only matching up colors of which backsplash goes with which countertop, but it's also knowing, I know I keep pounding on this one, but knowing your budget and being able to build a beautiful home, but staying in the parameters of what you can afford, because it's easy to pick out a lot of upgrades and up your price fast. So it helps to be able to know where to spend your money to still get a beautiful home, but stay in your budget.
If a buyer wants to contact you, what is the best way to do so?
The best way to contact me is just to call me or text me. My cell phone number is 770-880-6709, or they can email me directly at sspringfield@tamarawaderealestate.com.
And if the buyer has any questions on financing, they can reach me at 678-249-7457. This has been so informative. There's so much to the home buying process with getting started and the contract and the closing. Would you have time next week to talk about the next step in the process when a buyer does find a home and it's time for the contract part of it?
Sure, absolutely, Amy. I would love to, and I look forward to it next week. And it's been nice to talk to you today, and hopefully it's been able to give some people some insight, and we're just kind of scratching the surface. So next week we'll get into like the nuts and bolts of the paperwork and try to help people understand the process a little bit better. So thank you so much, Amy.
Thank you so much, and stay tuned until next week when Suzanne and I talk about the next step in the process. Have a good day.
Thanks, Amy. Take care.
See you later.